Alright, it's time to create life using Chemia. I've been practicing for months and it's finally time to do this. Let's take one final look at my notes. Alright, soil, check. Chalk, check. And I guess that's it. Alright, well, let's do this. Alright, carefully. Ah! Oh, what? I'm alive. I didn't want you. I'm alive. No. Do you like alchemy? Done. This is the last time I play around with Chemia. Are you my mom? Albedo is one of the most lore-rich characters in Genshin Impact. He has connections to Conria, the unknown god who fought the Traveler, and practices Chemia, which led to the destruction of Conria. His very name is strewn deep into alchemic principles, and it's even hinted at that Albedo is not even a human being. So, who is Albedo? If you haven't seen my video on Chemia, I highly recommend you to check it out first, as it was created as a supplement to this video, as explaining all of Chemia in Albedo's video would take far too long. Albedo is the captain of the investigation team for the Knights of Favonius. He's also the chief alchemist in Mondstadt, with Sucrose as his assistant. However, like previously mentioned, the alchemy that Albedo practices is not the regular alchemy that everyone else uses. It is in fact Chemia. Both Donsleif, who is a survivor from Conria, and the Archon god Venti both acknowledge this fact, and Donsleif even goes so far as to say that if Albedo were to lose control of Chemia, he would have to get involved. But if Chemia is an art that was practiced in Conria, how exactly is Albedo practicing it today? Well, he actually learns this alchemy from his master, Reindoder, who at the current time is missing in action after she left Albedo when she discovered the heart of Nabarus in a dungeon. I'll be discussing more on this later in the video. From what we do know, Reindoder is a woman who adventured with Albedo for a long time. She taught him essentially everything he knows about alchemy, and his earliest memories are with Reindoder. And there's a theory that Reindoder is actually Gold from Conria. Of course, Gold, as we know, was an individual who also practiced Chemia, just like Reindoder. Gold, however, is suspected of being the leader of the Abyss Order, and as we know, they have created numerous monsters using Chemia, like the Rift Hounds. So their intentions aren't exactly good. But from what we know of Reindoder, we know she is a friend of Alice, Klee's mother. I would say this relationship is evidence that Reindoder is not an evil person by any means, and it is likely not to be Gold. It could give credence that although the two are similar, they are not the same person. However, Albedo does in fact say after Durin is defeated that Durin might be a creation of Reindoder, because the energy of the dragon resonates with his own, which could be evidence that Reindoder is Gold, because now both of them are practitioners of Chemia, both of them create monsters using Chemia, and if Reindoder created Durin, that also now dates Reindoder to being as old as Gold would be. I'll be going into this idea that Gold and Reindoder might be the same person at the end of the video. But if Durin was a creation of Reindoder, why would their energy resonate with Albedo's? Albedo doesn't have any memories of a childhood or family. He simply always remembers being with his master and adventuring. In his character story 3, his master says to Albedo that he is chalk. And as we know, because we all watched my video on Chemia, Albedo's name means chalk. She also says that the earth is where alchemy gets its name and is the basis of all life. Then, she demonstrates creating life that was brewing in a tank using Chemia. Later, in his character story 5, Reindoder once again refers to this and says chalk is the spotless soil which was used to make primordial man, and from soil, birthed chalk. Finally, Albedo says himself that his master was not his mother, but he had no doubt that his life stemmed from her. This essentially confirms that Albedo is a creation of Reindoder, a homunculus or golem of some kind. We know that she is capable of creating life that she demonstrated, and she knows the secrets of Chemia. Albedo's constellation is also a depiction of what some would call a small life form inside of a flask. Albedo's very own name refers to the second stage of the magnum opus, and is also known as the Chalk Prince. This comes from his constellation Princeps Cretaceous, which is Latin for Chalk Prince. Timaeus also says that Albedo just showed up in Mondstadt one day, and that he isn't from there. The only peculiar thing about Albedo now is his vision. As we know, he has a geovision, but what's important is the housing of the vision. If you didn't know, each vision's housing is a design that is dictated usually by where the wielder is from. For example, each characters from Liyue possess a Liyue vision. But Albedo's vision is a Mondstadt vision. We get confirmation from the Raiden Shogun that visions are in fact not distributed by archons like we thought, and she hints that there is another side of it, possibly Celestia, which is involved. But why exactly does Albedo have a Mondstadt vision if he is not from Mondstadt and is a homunculus? Kaya is a descendant of Conria and received his vision in Mondstadt, but he doesn't have a Mondstadt vision. He has a fake Mondstadt vision, which I go into more on my video on Kaya potentially being a member of the Abyss Order. Just something to think about. Today, Reindoter is missing, as she found what was called the Heart of Nabarus with Albedo in the heart of a dungeon, then disappeared, tasking Albedo to find the truth and meaning of this world. Some people have speculated that this object was an item needed to create a Philosopher's Stone, and Reindoter/Gold used this to become a god. I'm not entirely sure on this, as we don't have enough information on what exactly the heart is, and we don't have absolute proof that Reindoter/Gold is the same person. Also, in the beginning, the unknown god claims that she is dealing with the irrigation of man. I believe what she means by this is at the time, Gold was close to becoming capable of creating a Philosopher's Stone, which would cement them as a god in their own right. So, Celestia struck down to deal with their quote-unquote irrigation. So if Reindoter came close to the same thing, then you can only suspect that the unknown god would react in the same way. So that is my explanation on Albedo. I believe he is one of the most important characters in the game lore-wise, and I suspect that Albedo is going to be a key figure once we get closer to the discovery of Gold and the unknown god's identities. He is personally one of my favorite characters all around, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you feel like I left anything out, please feel free to leave a comment or your own personal theories, as I would love to hear them. And if you would like to discuss more Genshin lore, feel free to join the Discord with the link in the description. I hope to see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.